on campus about the third exam, and I want to spend a little bit of time to talk about the third exam. I'll also give you some information about the final exam, because the final exam is coming up in about 5 days. That's next Monday. So today is Wednesday, and the result is good, and the result is better than good. I'm just so happy to see the class average of 71.6, 72.4. So average out of the 33 people took the exam yesterday. We have a 72% average there, and out of those 33 people taking the exam, I end up with nearly 11 people either earned at least 88 or more points. And 88 is something that I would consider very close to an A, and we should be able to round it up, 88%. Well, in this case though, there's only, if you get 88 out of 100 on this exam, on the in-class exams there, that means you only missed one question from 92. So that's a very good result. About 1/3 of the class is getting A or close enough to A on the exams there. And when you look at the average there, really, and all it takes for each 100, all it takes is a 40 to bring it down to 70. And there are 40s, and there are even teens. So you know what? I've been teaching for so many years, and it's just amazing. I'm using pretty much the same or at least similar set of questions, and each semester I got a different batch of people, and the class average always stays around the same. So it's just to me, that's almost like how can that be? And different people, when they have different background, when they prepare for the class, and the amount of work they put in the class, in their coursework, they're all different. There's so many variables, but yet that class average, it just remains right around the same region, up and down by less than 5 percentage point there. So overall, exam number 3, I'm very happy with the result there. And I know many of you are concerned about the final exam. As I told you earlier, and probably at the beginning, since the beginning of the semester there, the final exam is going to be 200 points, and it's going to be a nationalized, standardized test for first term college chemistry. So that exam will cover basically everything that we talked about from chapter 1 all the way through chapter 10. That's the majority of the topics you will see on the final exam. Now, the 2 chapters that we want to start today, chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 15 that I want to wrap up tomorrow, those 3 chapters have minimum amount of information on the exam. So the exam only asks about 2 or 3 or 4 questions out of the 70 questions of the total number of questions there. So the reason I do want to bring this up is because, you know, when we develop Chem 101, we have to make sure that we cover all the topics that we need to cover, because we set Chem 101 as a prereq for Chem 102. So chapter 11, 12, and 15, those are the things that you will need. Well, it's Chem 101 is actually the prereq for Chem 102 and 201. Okay, so people who finish Chem 101, they can take organic chemistry without taking Chem 102. So chapter 11, chapter 12, and chapter 15, sometimes in other schools and in other programs there, the other schools may put them into Chem 102. And then as a result, they require students to take 101 and 102 before they take organic chemistry. But we figured if we can cover the topics in those 3 chapters there, and then the student doesn't have to spend the entire semester taking another chemistry if they are ready to take the organic chemistry. So that's how we structure the Chem 101. However, when ACS developed a nationalized standardized test, and they have different things in mind. Therefore, some of the questions that some of the chapters that we will cover in Chem 101 is not on the final exam. And that information, I think I told the class there, and before we adopted this particular textbook, was not even an issue, because the last 2 or 3 chapters that we cover in the semester is always going to be on the final exam, on the ACS exam there. So we never thought this was an issue. And last fall was the first semester that we adopted this particular textbook, and we rearranged the sequence of the chapters there. So 11, 12, and 15, nobody realized that there was very few questions on the final exam until like 2 weeks before the final exam. So I sent out an email to everybody, and then all my colleagues there said, well, these 3 chapters, I went through all the 70 questions before the final exam, and I said, well, there are very few questions on these 3 chapters. Should we tell the student? Because if we don't tell the student will automatically assume the first 3 exam covers the first 10 chapters, and then the final exam is going to be focused on at least the last 3 chapters there. And I got a reply from one of my colleagues, and said, well, we shouldn't teach to the test, so we should not really review that release that information to the student. And then when I saw that email, I was a little bit not so happy to say, but I don't want to get into an argument with my colleagues, so I replied that email jokingly. I said, well, some of the practices that many Asian countries use when they teach a particular topic are known as teach to the test. So I replied, I said, well, after 20 years of being in this country, I finally identified myself as a Chinese, because we are known for teaching to the test. Yet, I still don't feel it's fair that we don't tell the student the questions on the final exam, how they're being distributed. So eventually we come up with an agreement there. We should let the student know, but we don't want to say that way in advance, so people would just disappear for the last 2 weeks of the during the regular semester there. So well, that's the case there. And out of the 70 questions there, it's all multiple choice. Okay. And I am trying to, when you take the final exam will be curved. That's the only exam that will be curved. And the 3 in-class exam, whatever you got is whatever you got. Okay? I saw that, Natalie.
Dang.
I saw that, Natalie. The final exam will be curved. Now, when you talk about the curving there, each instructor will have a different approach. How do you curve it? Well, this is